Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com.
Yeah, mine's sometimes Labor Day because mine's September 1st.
Oh, wow.
Suppose I could be ready to go.
I guess you could. It's almost 10 anyway.
Yep.
The time is 10 a.m.
Whatever you guys want to.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Tony and I'm here with Meredith. We invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. And Meredith, would you like to start us off?
Well, actually, why don't you start?
Okay, I got it. Well, now that we have reached July 3rd and we are moving into the holiday weekend, let's talk about what's closed today and tomorrow here in Missouri. Ahmed Jawadi with the USA Today Network brings us the story through the Springfield News-Leader. And he says Independence Day is this Saturday, and there will be loads of things to do around Missouri to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday. Whether you're planning to celebrate the holiday at a fireworks display or a family barbecue, you may need to run some last-minute errands. Here's what's open and closed across Missouri on July 3rd and the 4th of July. So, are federal or Missouri state offices open on July 3rd and 4th? Well, given that Independence Day is a federal holiday, non-essential federal offices will be closed on Friday, July 3rd. It's also a state holiday in Missouri, so all local governments and state offices will also be closed on Friday, July 3rd. What about grocery stores and major retailers? Well, most major grocery stores, retailers, and restaurants should be open on July 3rd and 4th, but you may want to check with your local stores to confirm business hours as they can vary by location. Most Hy-Vee and Schnucks stores are open their regular hours. Costco will be open during normal business hours on Friday, July 3rd, but will be closed on Saturday, July 4th. Sam's Club will be open during normal business hours on both Friday, July 3rd and Saturday, July 4th. The U.S. Postal Service is expected to operate normally on Friday, July 3rd, with regular mail delivery and post office services available. But post offices will be closed on Saturday, July 4th, and mail will not be delivered, according to the U.S. Postal Service's website. FedEx and UPS will operate more or less as usual on Friday, July 3rd, although some services or hours may be modified ahead of the holiday. Both mail carriers will be closed on Saturday, July 4th, and mail will not be delivered. Most banks are expected to remain open on Friday, July 3rd, though some locations may operate with modified hours. For holidays falling on Saturday, Federal Reserve banks and branches will be open the preceding Friday, according to the Federal Reserve. Most banks will be closed, though, on Saturday, July 4th. Both the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ stock market will be closed on Friday, July 3rd and Saturday, July 4th. Trash pickup shouldn't be affected on July 3rd for most municipalities, but it can vary from city to city on Independence Day. Check with your local waste management service to see what their pickup schedule will be on July 3rd and 4th. Holiday hours can vary among Missouri's libraries, so it's best to check whether the ones in your area will be open on Friday, July 3rd. State libraries will be closed, however, on Saturday, July 4th. Missouri Department of Revenue offices will be closed on both Friday, July 3rd and Saturday, July 4th. However, hours may vary among license offices, so check the Missouri License Office locator to see whether your local office will be open. They want you to know that their editors independently chose their recommendations. Some content is produced with paid support from a third party. However, their editorial decisions remain independent. Meredith?
Okay. First, I'm going to need some help because I got a pop-up
you got
window
it.
here. So this is from 417 Magazine.
What's this here?
Oh, thank you. Peek inside a bold, colorful downtown Springfield Airbnb loft. A local designer's passion project turns a downtown loft into a bold, modern Airbnb filled with color, personality, and thoughtful design. And this is by Heather Cole of 417 Magazine. On a search for creating more balance in their busy lives, Ryan and Fernanda Edwards stumbled across a 110-year-old building in downtown Springfield with a large loft for sale in the upper level. I've always loved downtown, says Fernanda, local interior designer. It's always reminded me of home and away. Fernanda is from Pelotas in southern Brazil, where more concentrated areas of people are the norm. When they purchased the space, the couple didn't know what the end product would look like. But they knew an investment property would allow for more supplemental income. They contemplated a long-term rental and Airbnb, but what they didn't know is that this would be a project for their whole family to dive into, and a space where Fernanda could see her interior design skills, could use her interior design skills and let her love for eclectic, joyful design shine. I love working with clients and making their vision reality, but that was a chance to really step inside the box, Fernanda says. I really went bold, bright and fun. This space was already a whooping 1,900 square feet, but it needed a lot of layers pulled back. The loft had a very 80s and 90s vibe, Fernanda says. You could tell it had been through several remodels in its lifetime. Peeling off layers of materials throughout the space revealed some beautiful original details. Even the family's kiddos helped with the demo, with their son Max, who's 11, enthusiastically jumping in and helping as much as he could, along with their daughter Flora, who's 11, and son Miles, who's 6. The whole project was a labor of love from our family to our guests. Honoring so many original features as they could was a goal during the renovation, preserving and highlighting the original wood flooring and exposing more of the windows that have been blocked off over the years. There's so much natural light in the space, Fernanda says. It's light and bright. The couple embraced all of the old and paired modern furnishings and art to embrace that cool downtown feel. The original floor adds character and charm in the space. It's not perfect, but it has all the character you would expect from a 110-year-old floor, Fernanda says. Exposing the brick of the forcade on McDaniel Street revealed framework and alignment painted on the brick, which the couple decided to leave. We named the loft the framework and alignment loft. Fernanda says. Her father painted several of the pieces that are now on display in the loft. I love that they bring a little Brazil in the space, Fernanda says. Today, the 4-bed, 2-bath loft, opening as an Airbnb, hosting larger groups. It's quite big and fits a lot of people comfortably, Fernanda says. They've hosted groups of college friends having a reunion, wedding parties, and even families getting together for Thanksgiving dinner. I think where you go away and stay somewhere new, it's your opportunity to step inside the box and embrace something new, Fernanda says. That's why I love about design. You produce a space that you know people are going to feel good when they are in that space. Tony?
And with all of the outdoor activities happening this weekend, it might be nice to know that there's a tick program launching in Webster County to prevent alpha-gal. Janice Reeser with the Springfield News-Leader says that residents in Webster County can now take a short online course aimed at preventing tick-borne illnesses and raising awareness about alpha-gal syndrome. The Webster County Health Unit is encouraging community members to participate in the free training, which takes about 10 minutes to complete, and offers guidance on avoiding tick bites and recognizing symptoms of tick-related diseases, according to a community announcement. The program also focuses on alpha-gal syndrome, a food allergy linked to certain tick bites. In Missouri, the Lone Star tick is considered the primary cause, according to the announcement. Participants can access the course through surveymonkey.com. Residents who complete the module may pick up a free tick prevention kit from the Webster County Health Unit while supplies last. Each kit includes tick repellent, a lint roller for removing small ticks from clothing, tweezers for safe removal, and instructions on proper tick prevention and removal techniques. Using insect repellent, checking for ticks after spending time outdoors, and promptly removing attached ticks can help reduce the risk of disease. Lint rollers can also help remove small ticks that may be difficult to see on clothing, according to the announcement. Ticks are a part of life in Missouri, but there are simple steps people can take to reduce their risk of tick bites and the diseases they can carry. Louise Bigley, Health Education Supervisor for the Webster County Health Unit, said in the announcement. This program provides residents with practical prevention information and tools they can use to immediately help protect themselves and their families. The health unit is urging people who spend time outdoors, including those who work outside, hunt, garden, or hike, to complete the program and learn more about preventing tick exposure. More information is available through webstercountymohealth.gov or by calling the Webster County Health Unit at 417-859-2532. And Missouri State University names new economic development leaders. Janice Reeser brings us this story as well from the Springfield News-Leader and says, Missouri State University has named new leaders for two major economic development groups following a longtime administrator's retirement. The changes took effect July 1st, according to a community announcement. Rachel Monday is now Assistant Vice President for Economic Development, while Matt Curry will take on the role of Executive Director of the Roy Blunt Jordan Valley Innovation Center. The appointments come after the retirement of Alan Kunkel, who directed the university's economic development efforts since 2007. The leadership changes are intended to support continued work in innovation, entrepreneurship, research partnerships, and economic growth, according to the announcement. In the newly created Assistant Vice President role, Mundy will oversee strategy for economic development initiatives and partnerships that connect businesses, communities, researchers, and students. The position also includes responsibility for programs designed to support innovation and regional collaboration. Mundy previously served as the executive director of eFactory, the university's business incubator and the entrepreneurship center. Since joining eFactory in 2015, Mundy has helped expand its reach across Southwest Missouri and into other parts of the state. The organization has enhanced support for entrepreneurs, developed workforce programs, and strengthened partnerships with the industry and the university while serving thousands of participants. Quote, Rachel has demonstrated exceptional leadership, vision, and a deep commitment to Missouri State University's public affairs mission, Brad Bodenhausen, Vice President for Community and Global Partnerships, said in the announcement. Her ability to build partnerships and create meaningful impact across communities make her the ideal person to lead our economic development efforts into the future. Curry, who has been with the university since 2001, will move into the executive director role at the Roy Blunt Jordan Valley Innovation Center after serving as assistant director. With more than 2 decades of experience supporting operations, research partnerships, and commercialization initiatives, Curry will oversee the center's strategic direction and daily functions while continuing to build collaboration between academic researchers and industry partners. Quote, Matt's leadership, technical expertise, and commitment to innovation have been instrumental to JVIC's success, Bodenhausen said in the announcement. He understands the unique role JVIC plays in connecting research, industry, and economic development, and I am confident he will continue building on the center's strong reputation and impact. Kunkel's retirement marks the end of a long period of leadership within Missouri State's economic development efforts. During that time, he helped establish and grow both eFactory and the Innovation Center into nationally recognized assets supporting business development, research commercialization, and workforce initiatives throughout the region. The new leadership team will continue efforts to expand economic development and community engagement programs while building on that foundation, according to the announcement. Meredith?
All right, so we've got the best steaks in Southwest Missouri, and this is by Tessa Cooper, Katie Pollock Estes, and Katie Pollock Estes from 417. So let's see here. If I can get my mouse to get where I want it to go here. All right, Tony, I'm gonna need your help.
We are here.
Okay. So I'm gonna click on Springfield here.
All right, you're back up here now.
There we go. Thank you.
You bet.
Oh, there we go. So in Springfield, we have the Char Steakhouse and Oyster Bar, which is on 1620 East Republic Road. All of the steaks at Char are aged for at least 3 weeks and are available in the classic cuts you love. But one steak stands out as unique as to this spot and is the ultimate indulgence for true beef connoisseurs. The Wagyu strip steak, tender and packed with flavor thanks to Wagyu's signature marbling. It's cooked to medium at a lower temperature and is the ultimate bucket list steak. Add a bit of seafood to your meal as well with the char oysters Rockefeller. And for a long time, Springfieldians feeling a bit of nostalgia for Mike Jalili, caterer of the past, you can get bacon wrapped dates. Rest in Peace Touch Restaurant, and Chicken Bouillon for some long-lost Bouillon's flavors. And what to order: Steak River Farms Wagyu strip steak. Side to try is Brussels sprouts leaves with citrus dressing. Next is Ocean's Inn on 4117 South National. Everything in the menu at Ocean's Inn has a bit of Pacific Island flair, and we love that about it. But while the flavors of macadamia nuts, pineapple, and sweet Asian sauces make appearances on most entrees, the steaks feature more classic steakhouse taste. While you're there, dig into one of Ocean's Inn's super loaded sushi rolls like the Hawaii 5-0 that's topped with seared rare ahi tuna and a sweet and spicy pineapple salsa. Next is a place I got to go to this week. It's Avanzari Italian Dining at 3240 South Fremont. When you think of Avanzari Italian Dining, your mind might go straight to some of the restaurant's best pasta dishes, like the decadent ravioli Augusta, a lobster ravioli with a creamy spicy marinara, or the rigatoni alla Tony with its shrimp, sun-dried tomatoes, pecans, goat cheese, and pesto. But this Italian eatery has a strong steak game too. From the filetto portro with rich port wine reduction to the fillets a porcini with mushrooms and garlic white wine butter sauce, the menu offers 5 beefy entrees any steak lover would want to try. Next is Flame Steakhouse and Wine Bar on 314 West Walnut. Flame Steakhouse has been one of the top slingers of perfect steaks in Springfield since 2004, and its presence downtown has been steady over the years while other eateries come and go. There's a reason for that. The steaks there are superb. Take the filet mignon, which is wet aged for 28 days. And before it's grilled at 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit, the result irresistibly juicy cuts of meat with the very best char. This spot is great for getting a little surf with your turf too. And next is Jim's Steakhouse and Pub at 1935 South Glenstone. Everybody races about the super fresh build-your-own salad bar at Jim's Steakhouse. Between that and the comforting French onion soup salmon, the French onion soup, salmon Caesar salad, and famously addictive bacon wrap peppadew peppers with their cheesy center and balsamic drizzle, you might forget that the biggest draw here is the beautifully prepared steak. Everyone we've tried has been mouth-watering, The prime rib is an old school classic that never disappoints. It's tender, juicy, and beautifully seasoned. Jim's is also known for its wonderful service, which means your favorite cut of steak will come to the table with a traditional classy steakhouse vibe. All right, Tony.
And we are poking around this morning. A group wants to plant the world's tallest flagpole in southwest Missouri to unite a divided nation. Steve Pokin with the Springfield Daily Citizen brings us this story that begins with a photo of Nathaniel Toms, who is heading a group that wants to place a 700-foot flagpole in southwest Missouri for a United States flag. In the photo, he is standing in front of the Vineyard Market, which features a number of flags. There are what appears to be 6 visible American flags, as well as one I'm assuming is a Back the Blue flag, as the flag is largely black and white with a blue stripe. Mr. Toms himself is wearing a blue suit with a crisp white shirt and red tie. Let's see what Steve Pokin has to say. He says, size matters, but that's not the point, says Nathaniel Toms, 47. Toms wants to construct the world's tallest flagpole right here in southwest Missouri. There's a website, oldgloryrising.org. Where in southwest Missouri? He won't say. The property hasn't been purchased yet. It will be 700 feet tall, with the large United States flag on top visible from 30 miles away. Hammond's Tower is 268 feet tall. The tallest flagpole in the USA is in Sheboygan, Wisconsin at 390 feet. At the top of the Wikipedia list of the world's tallest flagpoles is the one in Cairo, Egypt at 663 feet. NBA fans can think of it this way. 700 feet is the same height as 95 Victor Wembanyama's, who is 7'4", standing atop one another. 95 of them, wow. It's enormous, Toms tells me. Maybe you know Toms. For 18 years, he's operated the Mr. Electric franchise here in Springfield. It provides residential electrician service. But it's not about the height, although the height draws people, he says. Our focus is that our nation comes together and unites, and we can unite nonpartisan under one flag. According to the group's website, quote, turn on the news for 10 minutes and you might conclude that Americans agree on nothing. But spend an afternoon at a small town parade, a Friday night football game, or a veteran's funeral, and you'll see a different country entirely, one where neighbors still stand hats off as the flag passes by. Phase 1 is putting the flagpole in place. It will be funded in large part by people buying bricks with their names on them. The bricks are $250. The nation is celebrating its 250th birthday. The bricks will be placed around the flagpole. The flagpole will need to be planted in a mound for engineering and support reasons. The architect is the Buxton Cubic Dodd Design Collective in Springfield. Phase 2, Tom says, will be for a museum near the flagpole. It will focus on the history of the United States flag. The website refers to it as a, quote, community center. Phase 2 will be funded by major donors. The site will need parking space. There's going to be times when there will be thousands of people around the flagpole for events, for educational groups, for veterans to come together, Tom says. I want this to be a place where people can roll in and just spend time. I want it to be a beautiful place with an atmosphere of reflection where we honor veterans. It's not about building the world's tallest flagpole, he says. It's about building a place where Americans remember what unites them. Toms is hesitant to answer when I ask how much money has already been raised. That's because the organization is still in the process of acquiring nonprofit status. Such status makes contributions tax deductible. When the Springfield Daily Citizen was applying for nonprofit status in 2021, initial donations were placed in an account with the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. If all goes well, when will there be a large flag atop a 700-foot flagpole somewhere in southwest Missouri? I'm hoping that it will be finished in 2 years for sure, Tom says. If not, a year and a half. If I had a hand to wave, it would be finished in a year. I call timeout. My reporter's mindset kicks in. I need to review with him the essential elements of this story pitch. I don't know where the world's largest flagpole will be placed. I don't know how much money has been raised. You haven't been approved as a nonprofit yet. It might be 2 years before we can all hold hands in unity as we gaze up at the stars and stripes. I point out to him, you're asking me to write a story now about something that might not happen in the future. It's going to happen, he says. What the heck? I'm not going to be around if it doesn't happen. I'm retiring October 30th. So if there's no 700-foot flagpole in the summer of 2028, please contact Daily Citizen managing editor Harrison Keegan and ask for a retraction of this story. In an email to the Springfield Daily Citizen, Toms wrote, we are planning a soft announcement on July 4th, followed by a full announcement on July 10th. He tells me there will be a, quote, there first will be a, quote, whisper campaign that starts on the 4th of July about the world's largest flagpole. And then on the evening of Friday, July 10th, there will be a full launch at the Ozarks Mountain Sports Complex. There's nothing grander than to start something like this in a baseball stadium, you know, he tells me. Baseball and America go together. We'll have a full stadium at the Ozark Mountain Sports Complex. There's going to be a fireworks show after. I ask how big the flag will be. After all, it better be plenty big if it's going to be 700 feet up in the clouds. It will be 180 to 200 feet wide, he says. The height of the flag will be in proper proportion. And why are you, Nathaniel Toms, a.k.a. Mr. Electric, the right man for this patriotic mission? My father was in the Navy. My grandfather, Charles Levi Toms, was at Pearl Harbor. And my great-grandfather was in World War I and World War II. This is Poking Around column number 364. And speaking of the 4th of July, Springfield only allows these novelty fireworks for July 4th. Ahmed Jawadi, the USA Today Network, brings us this story through the News-Leader. Now that the start of seasonal fireworks sales in Missouri is underway, Springfield residents will be able to buy all sorts of consumer fireworks to ring in the 4th of July holiday. And Missourians sure love to celebrate our nation's independence with a bang, as we are the second highest buyers of fireworks in the nation. But before you go and light any fuses, you might want to make sure you're not breaking any laws. Here's what to know about fireworks laws and regulations in Springfield as well as in the state of Missouri. So what are Springfield's firework rules? Well, it's illegal to sell, possess, or set off fireworks within city limits, according to city code. The only exceptions are novelty items like snappers, party poppers, toy smoke devices, or glowworms, and some sparklers. Failure to comply can result in confiscation of fireworks by authorities as well as fines of up to $500. The city manager can, however, issue permits at their discretion for public displays. So when are fireworks sales allowed in Missouri? Fireworks sales from seasonal retailers are only legal in Missouri from June 20th through July 10th. Through June 11th, the Division of Fire Safety has issued 1,129 permits to seasonal fireworks retailers. And what fireworks are legal to buy and use in Missouri? Consumer fireworks, formerly known as Class C fireworks, are legally permitted for purchase and use in the state. That includes the following: bottle rockets, sky rockets, Roman candles, firecrackers, sparklers, smoke and punk, fountains, missiles, novelties, crackle and strobe, parachutes, wheels and spinners, aerial spinners, display shells, and aerial items. Any firework whose explosive composition exceeds federal limits for consumer fireworks is considered illegal. These include ground salutes, commonly known as cherry bombs, M80s, M100s, and M1000s. And who can buy fireworks in Missouri? Well, in Missouri, you must be at least 14 years old to buy fireworks unless you're with an adult. Sales are off limits to anyone who is obviously under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And we have here some safety tips provided by the Missouri Division of Fire Safety. First, confirm fireworks are legal where you live and only purchase fireworks from licensed retailers. Only use fireworks in a large open space that has been cleared of flammable materials. Always keep young children away from fireworks. If teens are permitted to handle fireworks, they should be closely supervised by an adult. Always wear eye protection. Make sure to have a garden hose or a bucket of water nearby in case of a fire. Only light fireworks one at a time. Never try to relight fireworks that have malfunctioned. Dispose of fireworks by soaking them in water and leaving them in a trash can. Never shoot fireworks off from a glass jar or container. Never use fireworks while consuming alcohol, and never store fireworks from season to season. According to the state fire marshal, 358 people in the state sought hospital care related to fireworks in 2025, with 81% of those injuries having occurred during the seasonal fireworks sales period. And speaking of fireworks, the demand rises in Missouri amid the 250th America's celebrations. Chris Meglio with the News-Leader brings us this story that says the 4th of July is just hours away, and the state of Missouri has been preparing for a highly anticipated celebration. Missouri boasts one of the biggest firework markets in the nation. In 2025, it ranked second in firework imports per resident with $11.67 per resident, $72.9 million worth of total firework imports, trailing South Dakota from the top spot, according to Tree. Kansas ranked just behind, but was far from overtaking Missouri with just $5.53 million in fireworks import. $5.53 in fireworks imports per resident. Those numbers are likely to increase given this year's holiday being the United States of America's 250th birthday. Springfield's R&R Fireworks certainly thinks so. We bought about 15% more cases than last year, give or take, said Andrew Richardson, tent operator with R&R Fireworks. Just rough numbers, just in anticipation of the 250th year of our country. Also, with it being on a Saturday, whenever you're organically off on a holiday, people are able to celebrate that a little bit extra. Andrew's father, Randy, started selling fireworks in 1977 across from what used to be Surplus City, then went on to start R&R Fireworks in 1990. Over 6 decades, Randy Richardson has attracted a loyal following in Springfield as a go-to firework business. One of the biggest reasons why Randy Richardson has kept his seasonal business alive for 3.5 decades is because of his affordable prices and multi-vendor strategy. By acquiring inventory from a dozen-plus suppliers, the business is able to view a wide variety of pricing for different fireworks sets, Andrew Richardson said, to which they find the best combinations of quality and quantity. He also said R&R Fireworks saved money on tariffs by purchasing its inventory early. Those two factors have allowed the Richardsons to keep their prices relatively flat compared to last year, with some products even selling for less than previous years. The business is on pace to sell more than their projections this year. By having those supplying strategies, we've been able to get really aggressive on pricing, which has helped us for many years, Andrew said. That's like my dad's biggest thing is getting a high-quality, high-octane backyard display at affordable pricing for everyone. It's been a really good strategy for us for 36 years. One of R&R Fireworks suppliers is Fireworks Over America. With 23 stores across 8 states, the brand's national headquarters sits on the northeast side of Springfield. Fireworks Over America supplies several of the local firework businesses, including a majority of the tents set up for the brief period leading up to the holiday. Most of its products come from China. The U.S. imported $380 million worth of fireworks from China in 2025, amounting to 93% of all of America's firework imports per Tree. But even Fireworks Over America, a popular location among Springfield fireworks fans, anticipated a higher demand this year than previous years, stocking up heavily for more distribution to its customers and local businesses. We've definitely seen people coming in earlier, shopping early, and getting their product kind of stocking up for the 4th, said Riley Glenn, General Manager of Retail at Springfield's Fireworks Over America East location. I'd hear people are coming in talking about 250 and talking about going big this year, so it's been a common thing among all of our stores. The City of Springfield and the Springfield Fire Department wants residents to be cautious and offered a number of reminders to ensure a safe celebration for all per a press release on the City of Springfield website. The city's fire code prohibits the possession, manufacture, storage, sales, handling, and discharge of fireworks within city limits. Novelty items described as snappers, party poppers, toy smoke devices, or glowworms, and some sparklers are allowed but should be used with extreme care and under adult supervision. About 40% of Independence Day structure fires are the result of fireworks, according to the National Fire Protection Association. About 250 people go to emergency rooms each day with fireworks-related injuries in the month around July 4th. Fireworks start an average of 18,500 fires a year. According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, across the U.S. in 2024, 11 people died as the result of fireworks. 14,700 people were treated for injuries in hospital emergency rooms. Adults ages 25 to 44 accounted for the largest share of reported injuries, 32%, followed by people ages 15 to 24 at 24%. About 43% of selected and tested fireworks were found to contain illegal components that could cause severe injuries. The components included fuses that did not comply with the law, the presence of prohibited chemicals, and pyrotechnic materials overload. According to data collected by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services in 2025, 358 people in Missouri sought hospital care related to fireworks. 316 of those people were treated in emergency rooms and released. 42 were admitted to the hospital. 81% of those fireworks injuries occurred in the 3-week period leading up to and following Independence Day from June 21st to July 11th. The most commonly injured body parts by fireworks are the hands and fingers, followed by the head, face, eyes, and ears, according to the press release. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission reported that the majority of the estimated 13,000 people injured by fireworks in 2025 were between the ages of 15 and 24. The CPSC advises these safety tips when using fireworks. Never allow young children to play with or ignite fireworks, including sparklers. Sparklers burn at temperatures of about 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt some metals. Keep a bucket of water or a garden hose handy in case of fire or other mishap. Make sure fireworks are legal in your area and only purchase and set off fireworks that are labeled for consumer, not professional use. Never use fireworks while impaired by alcohol or drugs. Light fireworks one at a time, then move back quickly. Never try to relight or pick up fireworks that have not ignited fully. Follow all instructions and warnings on fireworks and never hold them in hand unless instructions specify to do so. A safe and fun way to celebrate Independence Day is to attend one of the many community displays in and around the city, Fire Chief David Pennington said in the release. These displays are presented by professionals who have obtained the required permit and safety inspection by the Bureau of Fire Prevention to ensure the safety of the public. Those wanting more information can contact Assistant Fire Chief Brian Newberry at 417-874-2300. Meredith?
Okay, so where to watch the FIFA World Cup in Springfield? And this is by Madison Arenas of 417 Magazine. For fans across Springfield, soccer is about community. Ahead of 2026 FIFA World Cup games in Kansas City, 2 Springfield pubs are seeking to bring that community together. And we have an affordable way to watch. Mark and Stephanie Mulherin, owners of Mully's Pub and Patio at 1281 East Republic Road, combine sports with a love of food and family. After moving to Springfield, the Mulherins searched for a place to watch the 2014 World Cup. But across the city, none of the venues that they checked had a single game on. They were inspired to open the pub of their own, where they knew they could talk about the game with fans, not just press play. The couple opened Mully's in 2025 in a 5,000 square foot building with 3 levels. The Mullerins new soccer. The Mullerins new soccer. They have 5 sons who played it. Mully shows just about every sport imaginable, but despite not being a soccer pub, the game hits closer to home. The game hits close to home. Once you're done talking about the game with Mark and Stephanie, you can grab a meal at Mully's full-service restaurant. Head upstairs to the 2nd level with lounge furniture and a slightly more private atmosphere to feel like your living room or connect with the soccer people. They pride themselves in attracting college players, referees, and families of young children who play. On one side of our pub, you can see a family and multiple kids, Mark says. And on the other side, you could see a group of guys who are wearing soccer jerseys, and they can cohabitate in the same space. If you have a favorite soccer team, bring a team scarf to get a free appetizer. If you visit during the World Cup, you'll find food and drink specials that vary based on the match. Bring your family or come alone. Mully's prides itself on having an inclusive, family-friendly environment. And a soccer fan favorite, for new or familiar fans looking for an English-inspired pub vibe, head to Mumble's 1888 at 504 East Commercial Street. Named for the year the building was first inhabited and the year the English League was founded. Bonus fun fact: Mumbles is the scenic coastal town in Wales. For General Manager Bailey Turner, soccer has been a part of his life since he was a young child in Alabama, and he seeks to grow the soccer scene in Springfield. Catch a game at their 100-inch TV on their 100-inch TV. Listen to their surround sound system and take part in the close-knit vibe of people cheering on various teams in the space. And Mumbles 1888, you don't need to walk in with a team to root for, Turner says. Many superfans will likely try to convert you to theirs. If they find out you don't have one. I think there are a lot of people who are looking for more people to join them, rather than be like, oh, this is our exclusive thing. We don't want people involved in it, Turner says. It's very open and welcoming to all people, which is also really cool and something that I think is unique to soccer fandom. All right, Tony.
All right. And speaking of sports, the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame Museum is set to reopen in August at a downtown Springfield location. The Daily Citizen staff bring us this story that begins with a photo of a statue of golfer Payne Stewart, which was removed from the grounds of the closed Hall of Fame in March of 2026 and was being kept indoors before being moved elsewhere for storage. So you can see here, it looks like it's in some sort of warehouse. There is some insulation behind it that does not look new. It looks used, as well as some new palleted cinder blocks and metal materials. After being closed for nearly 5 years, the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame announced Thursday, July 2nd, that its museum is reopening at its new downtown Springfield location on August 12th. The MSHOF, which had been located in southeast Springfield off Highway 60 near the Highland Springs Country Club entry gate since 1994, is now headquartered at 431 West Walnut Street. It closed in 2021 for renovations before financial difficulties led to an eventual relocation in 2025. The nonprofit museum and foundation has long been dedicated to honoring athletes, coaches, teams, and contributors in Missouri's athletic history with a series of exhibits and other historical markers. Its new, smaller location, the MSHOF said, is intentionally designed to deliver a deeper, more personal connection to the stories, achievements, and individuals who have shaped the state's sports history. Quote, "This moment represents resilience," said Rob Marsh, president and CEO of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, in a news release. "There were challenges, there were uncertainties, but there was never a moment where we lost sight of the mission. This museum is a reflection of that commitment to preserve these stories and to ensure they continue to inspire future generations. This is an important step forward for the Hall of Fame," Dan Nelson, chairman of the board, said in a news release. "We are proud to see the museum return in a way that strengthens our connection to the community while honoring the legacy that has made this organization so meaningful to so many. The museum will be open weekdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Meredith, are you ready yet?
Almost, and I just found the mouse. Where'd it go? All right, I'm gonna need some help here.
Yep, you bet. Where is your mouse? I don't see it. There it is. Here you are, up here.
Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. So let's see.
Well, Meredith is getting situated here.
Oh,
We have the.
got
Oh,
one here.
are you ready?
Yep.
All right, we'll hand it back over to Meredith. Here we
Okay.
go.
So this is Kimberling City's growing food scene at Table Rock Lake. And this is by Tessa Cooper of 417. The food scene in Kimberling City has been rapidly expanding, putting the town on the map as a hotspot for fueling up during a Table Rock Lake excursion. We asked 417 Magazine co-founder and Kimberling City regular Joan Whitaker, where she loves to eat. So first, we have Funky Twig Ice Cream Shop at 13272 Missouri 13, Suite B in Kimberling City. It's the best stop for getting your little one a scoop of blackberry ice cream and yourself an iced lavender latte. I would go for blackberry ice cream myself. That sounds good. But next we have the Sandwich Shop at 13272 Missouri 13, Suite C in Kimberling City. It's the best stop for a pre-lake lunch. You've got to try the Reuben, served Monday, Wednesday, and Friday only. It's hands down the best in 417 land. and based on my experience in Missouri, Joan says. Next is the Lake Time Bistro, 13272 Missouri 13, Suite F in Kimberling City. The best stop for a date night at a steal of a deal. They offer a special where you get a bottle of wine, 2 starter salads, 2 entrees, and 2 desserts. Next is Simply Baked by Chandler at 13256 Missouri 13 in Kimberling City. It's the best stop for grabbing some divine baked goods. If you're hungry, try a meat pie. The crust just melts in your mouth, Joan says. Next is Brothers Burgers at 13297 Missouri 13 in Kimberling City. It's the best stop for enjoying a good burger and a classic banana split in a 1950 style diner. Next is Ozark Coffee Company at 41A Kimberling C Street in Kimberling City. The best stop for meeting friends for an upscale coffee experience or caffeinating while you just get a little remote work done. Next is Pizza by the Chef at 11863 Missouri 13 in Kimberling City. It's the best stop for picking up pizza to feed your crew. If you're a fan of a classic margarita pizza, order the chow. Next is Castaways Pub and Grill at 11863 Missouri 13 in Kimberling City. The best stop for great bar food like bread and mushrooms and barbecue chicken wings. Next is Cruise In and Throttle Down. Cruise In and Throttle Down at 9687 Missouri 13 in Kimberling City. The best stop for enjoying a hearty burger and a classic biker bar. All right, Tony.
In other food news, it looks like McDonald's is bringing back the fried apple pie to mark America's 250th. Cheryl Morey from the South Bend Tribune wrote this article that's brought to us through the Springfield News-Leader and begins with a photo of a McDonald's restaurant. Wow, that looks like an old school style McDonald's.
Oh, it does.
At 416 North Michigan Street in downtown South Bend. The building is tan and brown, color blocked alternating with a burgundy colored roof and white accents. I'm not entirely sure how to describe that. It looks like a thing of the 90s, at least for our area.
Yes, it does.
The McDonald's fried apple pie has returned nationwide for a limited time, coinciding with the upcoming 250th birthday of the United States. According to a press release, the dessert became available June 23rd at participating restaurants across the country. The fried apple pie features a filling made with 100% American-grown apples encased in a crunchy, flaky fried crust. The item has its roots in a family recipe created in the 1960s by East Tennessee owner-operator Lytton Cochran. Over time, it became a popular menu item at McDonald's locations nationwide. There are certain things that just take you back, and the fried apple pie is one of them. It's something that people love and remember from growing up, Aaron Cochran, a McDonald's owner-operator, said in the release. To celebrate the pie's return, McDonald's unveiled a 35-foot fried apple pie monument on Route 66 just outside Chicago at 920 North Broadway Street in Joliet, Illinois. The monument will remain on display through July 4th, aligning with America's milestone birthday. Visitors can take selfies and pick up a souvenir map while visiting the site, according to the release. McDonald's encourages customers to try the fried apple pie at restaurants or through its app while supplies last. It's available nationwide, including in Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, and in Missouri. Wonder what they're going to do with that after they move it.
I wonder what they're going to do, too.
I hope that that's not just waste. We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store, situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore more of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and our girl here, Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education.
I'm going to have to go because it's 11 o'clock.
All right, and we say goodbye to Meredith this morning, and I will work you through the rest of the hour. Let's start with, how about an interesting article about corn sweat? That was not on my bingo card this morning, but Ahmed Jawadi with the USA Today Network is telling us that corn sweat adds to the sticky Missouri heat this week. When it comes to Missouri summers, any lifelong resident will tell you it's not the heat, it's the humidity. And with multiple heat advisories issued throughout the state amid a heat dome pummeling most of the Midwest, that phrase has never rung truer. But what if one of Missouri's most abundant crops pushes already high humidity levels even further? So what is corn sweat? Well, corn sweat refers to the process known as evapotranspiration. Corn plants, like other plants, absorb water through their roots for growth and photosynthesis. Any excess moisture is then released as vapor through tiny pores in their leaves called stomata into the atmosphere, according to crop intelligence firm Taranis. In states that have hundreds of millions of acres of corn and soybean crops like Missouri, corn sweat can release an incredible amount of water vapor into the air, making already muggy days even muggier. Well, how much does corn sweat? Apparently, an acre of corn gives off about 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water each day, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. The USDA recorded about 3.8 million acres of corn in Missouri in 2025. So, if we do the math, we find that a staggering 11.4 to 15.2 billion gallons of water are pumped into the atmosphere each day throughout the state just by corn alone. Though corn sweat certainly contributes to moisture levels, especially in the later summer months, it really only makes up a fraction of the humidity in the air. Transpiration accounts for around 10% of the moisture in the air, with the other 90% coming almost entirely from bodies of water, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The current heat wave in Missouri is being driven by a high-pressure system stalled over the central United States. Andrew Ansorge, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, told the USA Today Network. So here are some tips from the University of Missouri on how to control humidity inside your home. First, you can caulk and weather strip your home. You can open all your windows early in the morning to get rid of heat and help cool the home. Keep the house closed during the hottest time of day. Use floor and ceiling fans as much as possible to circulate a cooling breeze. Take showers early in the morning or late at night. Use appliances and equipment that give off heat, like an iron, TV, hairdryer, etc., only as needed, and limit use to the early morning or at night. Try not to use your stove, if possible, to keep from heating the kitchen. Cover cooking pots, use exhaust fans, and use a dehumidifier when needed. And in some excellent community news this morning, some funds are going to boost how Springfield Glow supports the rural LGBTQ+ communities. Susan Shuk with the Springfield News-Leader says Erin Kitchens knows that community is an important aspect of health, mental and physical. The Missouri Foundation for Health agrees. However, it's often an aspect that is lacking or prohibitively difficult to access for LGBTQ plus folks who live in rural areas of southwest Missouri. To cap off Pride Month, the Glow Center announced that it received $483,238 in funding spread out over 3 years from the MFH. The funding will allow the center to support and help cultivate a network of care and connection for LGBTQ plus people across southwest Missouri through its new Community Connections program. Kitchens, who is executive director of Glow, said the center's fiscal year 2026 budget was $359,661.86. The MFH funding will provide a huge boost in regards to what the center is able to do to support Southwest Missourians. In the past, assistance to other LGBTQ plus organizations was limited to, quote, cutting a check, offering guidance, offering advice. We'll invest in local leaders, strengthen grassroots organizations, support new and existing Pride efforts, provide capacity building support, and help create more opportunities for LGBTQ plus people to connect, belong, and thrive in their own hometowns, Glow said in a news release. While there is some national data regarding health disparities for the LGBTQ plus people in rural areas, it's often lacking. What data does exist isn't necessarily applicable to Southwest Missouri, Kitchens said, as the Missouri Ozarks are way different than Appalachia. With that in mind, the first phase of the project is gathering information. An updated needs assessment will be sent out to rural partners. People can also fill out a form on the Rural Community Connections page that goes over what people want to see in their community, what work is already happening, and what Glow needs to know. Glow hopes to establish what the existing web of support looks like for LGBTQ plus people across southwest Missouri. From there, Kitchens said Glow wants to work with grassroots efforts and pre-existing organizations to help them host listening sessions. We'll be there in the room, but it really is about the community having a conversation internally about what they want to see, Kitchens said. Then we want to support whatever that is. Following is a photo of restaurants in the vicinity of Park Central Square who participated in celebrating the Ozarks Pride Fest this year back on June 13th. It is very bright and colorful. We have patio umbrellas that are rainbow colors. We have banners that are rainbow colors and various pride flags. We have an inflatable rainbow for the entrance of the building. Very festive and fun. Isolation has been spotlighted in the last few years, but according to Kitchens, it's been a problem in the queer community for much, much longer, and it's not often discussed at the same level of importance and certainly not at the same level of urgency. In 2023, the then U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek H. Murthy, highlighted the loneliness epidemic and how a lack of connectedness can have health ramifications. Loneliness is far more than just a bad feeling. It harms both individual and societal health. It is associated with a greater risk of cardiovascular disease, dementia, stroke, depression, anxiety, and premature death, Murthy wrote. The mortality impact of being socially disconnected is similar to that caused by smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, and even greater than that associated with obesity and physical inactivity. Kitchens, who has a master's degree in public health, explained the chain reaction that can happen when someone feels completely alone. If you're isolated and feel like there's no reason to leave the house, it contributes to a sedentary lifestyle, which can contribute to obesity, which can affect cardiovascular health. In addition to that, mental health impacts and trauma can increase the likelihood of engaging in more risky behaviors, including substance use, which can lead to substance use disorder and the physical and mental health challenges that accompany it. If you look at a public health report that talks about any of these communities, any of those things that it highlights, LGBTQ plus people in those communities face those health issues at a disproportionately higher rates, Kitchens said. We know this is a health issue, and we're so grateful that there are funders and organizations that understand that connection. For many, the choice to live authentically and happily by coming out is one that can result in losing family members. In larger cities, established LGBTQ plus communities and programs can help fill the gap, stepping in to provide emotional and even financial support in some instances. However, in rural areas, coming out could be like walking a tightrope without a net or harness. You can't come out of the closet even if you're adult because family is your support system, not just financially, but emotionally. That's your community. Losing access to that when there's no other option is life threatening, Kitchens said. Kitchens grew up in a rural southeast Texas town with no visibility for LGBTQ plus people, much less any sort of support services. He stayed closeted until he left his hometown, but he hopes that the programs and services Glow and Southwest Missouri communities build can allow more people to live authentically by providing another safety net in addition to familial ones. While the metaphorical fall won't be comfortable, may not even be safe, it at least won't be life-threatening. If the worst does happen, if they lose some of those familial relationships, they lost some of the support they have in their life, there's another community that is ready and willing and welcoming and arms open, excited to welcome this person in and provide them with the support that they need and help them connect with the resources they need. And earlier in the show, Meredith brought us a story from 417 Magazine about where you could watch the FIFA stuff. And here we hear about one of those places more in depth. As Adam Walker with the Springfield Daily Citizen says that Springfield soccer fans revel in USA's World Cup knockout round win over Bosnia and Herzegovina. We begin with a photo of soccer fans from around the world as they erupt with joy at what was thought of as the first goal of the round of 32 knockout round game. The goal was called back due to the player being offside. But this photo features the area behind Mumbles they're calling the cage. And the cage is packed. This is standing room only out there. Everyone is standing, arms raised, cheering. They have flags from countries all over the world hanging from the hanging from the rafters of the ceiling there. And you can see historic C Street in the background. It's a very beautiful photo. For Springfield soccer fans, Mumbles 1888 was the place to be on Wednesday night. Commercial Street's new soccer pub hosted a large watch party as the United States men's national team defeated Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0 in a round of 32 World Cup match. USA will now face Belgium on Monday, July 6th at 7 p.m., and Mumbles will host another watch party with help from other C Street businesses. The Springfield Brewing Company opened Mumbles 1888, located at 504 East Commercial Street in early February. A few months later, business is booming as fans from teams across the country have been stopping in to gather and cheer on their teams in the World Cup. Fans watching at Mumbles on Wednesday night said they enjoyed the atmosphere and the shared experience of watching the game together. I love Mumbles, Katie Gilbert said during Wednesday match. It's a great positive vibe. And here we have another photo from inside Mumbles as soccer fans flooded the pub on Wednesday night to watch the men's national soccer team beat Bosnia and Herzegovina in the round of 32 knockout games. And we are standing room only inside the bar as well. We have a brick-walled building covered in various sports jerseys and flags and TVs. And aside from the decor up near the ceiling, all you can see wall to wall is people packed out, arms raised, celebrating, excited, hopeful. It looks more hopeful than celebratory. Several businesses on Commercial Street pitched in to help Mumbles by turning the World Cup party into a block party. The Rathbone Ace hardware store next door to Mumbles has allowed the pub to rent its fenced-in space with a roof covering as a separate viewing area for the World Cup games, also known as the Cage, as I mentioned. The Springfield Yellow Cab Company, located behind Mumbles, has also helped the block party by providing chairs and extra parking for World Cup games. Tony Emilio, a manager at the Springfield Yellow Cab Company, when asked about the helpful nature of businesses on historic C Street, said, "It really brightens up Springfield." Looks like that's the end of the article. And I would have to agree There are some now saying that C Street is the happiest street in town, and I absolutely agree. I can't get enough time down on C Street. Lots of fun. And in other sports news, the Springfield Cardinals insider Korean prospect Wonbin Cho has learned 2 more languages, English and home run hitting. Lyndall Scranton brings us this story with the Springfield Daily Citizen. We begin with a photo of Springfield Cardinals right fielder Wonbin Cho as he points to the dugout after a single on Tuesday, June 30th here in Springfield. The progress that Cardinals prospect Wonbin Cho has made on the field is notable since he signed as an 18-year-old with St. Louis in 2022, fresh out of high school in his native Sonyeom, Republic of Korea. 4 years later, Cho can smile just as much about his off-field accomplishments. From a bright-eyed teenager who didn't speak a word of English upon arriving in the United States, Cho has become an excellent communicator. I started learning English in 2023, my second year, Cho said earlier this week before a game at Route 66 Stadium. My agent and I talked about it, and we decided to do it. I couldn't speak English. My teammates and coaching staff couldn't really understand what I was saying. But with the help of agent Han Lee and a translator, Cho set his mind to learn the language. The ability to communicate has helped him settle into American culture as well as speed his learning of the game. His English has gotten so much better since he's been here from day one, said Springfield manager Patrick Anderson, who had Cho with High A Peoria in 2024. He's worked hard with that. He had a translator before, and he said he didn't want a translator. He didn't need one after the first year or year and a half. I commend him for the hard work he's done with that. While Cho has been in and out of the Cardinals' top 30 prospects list, he's showing his skills since arriving in AA Springfield with 4 home runs and 10 RBI in his first 4 games. He walloped a walk-off home run on June 28th to beat Northwest Arkansas. Cho explained that it was his first walk-off home run at any level and praised his teammates for rallying to tie the game before his dramatic drive capped the Cardinals' 5th straight victory at Route 66 Stadium. I didn't do well in that game, and I have to give a big shout-out to my team, Cho said. They made it a tie game, and our pitchers did really well. Home runs are awesome. Especially as keep climbing the Cardinals system after nearly 2.5 years playing in Peoria. He said several of his teammates from Peoria are in Springfield, along with Anderson and some of the coaching staff. It's made for a fun first couple of weeks in a new city that has made him happy with its abundance of Korean and Asian restaurants. He said Peoria had such few places to satisfy his appetite. On the field, he said he hasn't been in AA long enough to determine how much better the pitching is. It's not about who's pitching. What I need to do is step in the box and focus, stick with my approach. That was just my focus, Cho said. Pursuing baseball dreams in Middle America is what the minor leagues are all about, whether prospects are from the United States, Central America, or Southeast Asia. He signed with the Cardinals after moving to the United States to showcase his skills at prospect camps. Cho bypassed entering his name in the Korean Baseball Organization draft and took a chance on following one of his heroes, Shin Soo-Choo, as a Korean to someday play in the MLB. It didn't take long for Cho to become homesick, while hitting only .211 in 76 at-bats in rookie ball. The first thing when I came to the United States, I thought I shouldn't be here, Cho said. I came to the U.S. from high school in Korea, and there were so many players that were bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me. My first year in spring training, I was like, damn, can I do it? Can I make big leagues? Just so many good players here, older players that were good. The language barrier plus some injuries that sidelined him in 2022 with the post-COVID-19 world everyone dealt with amplified his anxiety. Lee, a 2022 STLSportsPages.com story, said he and his wife brought Cho into their home to help ease the transition. They would often go out to dinner and use those outings as teaching moments. I told him when we were done eating, you had to ask for the check, Lee said. I wanted him to experience it himself, so I left him there and went to the restroom. It turned out he ended up asking the busboy for the check, and that kid said a bunch of things that Wonbin didn't understand. Cho remained determined to outlast the hard times. It was kind of lonely. Sometimes my friends back in Korea, they were playing baseball in KBO, Cho said. When I was injured, I kind of got homesick, but then I thought, it is what it is, and I'm very happy to be here. Anderson said it cannot be overstated how much the cultural differences can add to the difficulty for young players from outside the United States. Just with anything, obviously different cultures, understanding language, to being so far away from home at a young age, it's one of the hardest things to do, period, Anderson said. A lot of our Latin players run into that, obviously, but being from Korea is a different setting. He has a little bit of a discipline that's different, just a different culture from being there. Anderson said the strongly built 6'1", 200-pound Cho has made notable progress since the two were together in Peoria. I saw him a few years ago and then had him for a year in Peoria. He spent 3 years in high A and grinded through that, started making some adjustments offensively, and it's been fun to see him so far, Anderson said. He came up big with that home run and is putting together better at-bats. Just like anything else, it's about consistency and putting together quality at-bats and getting himself in a good hitting position. It seems like his routine is pretty good. He's got a little pop and he's a strong kid. There's some little things defensively that he needs to work on. Anderson noted how Cho hit his cutoff man in a recent game against Northwest Arkansas that turned out to be an out at first base when the batter took too big a turn on the play. Sometimes he would either airmail that throw or throw that ball through to the plate when he didn't have a chance, Anderson said. For him to make that adjustment, that is huge for a young kid. Cho, who returns to Korea to visit family for about a month each offseason, said his goal for the rest of 2026 is to keep improving and stay healthy. The ultimate dream remains to make it all the way to St. Louis. My short-term goal was making it to Double-A, and my main goal is making it to the big leagues. I'm very happy to be here, but my dream is not done yet, Cho said. Making a debut in the big leagues is my biggest goal in life, for me and for my family. That would be awesome. As the Springfield and Arkansas series continues into the holiday weekend, top prospects at MLBpipeline.com from the organizations are set to square off on the mound. On July 3rd, Mariners #1 prospect Cade Anderson will start against Cardinals' second-ranked prospect Liam Doyle at 7:05 p.m. Then on July 4th, Mariners #2 Ryan Sloan is scheduled to face Cardinals #4 Gerangelo Cigenti in a 6:05 p.m. start. Springfield will be sending 2 players to the Futures game with 19-year-old catcher Raniel Rodriguez, #1 organization prospect, and Doyle to the MLB Futures game. Top prospects from American and National League teams will face off July 12th at Citizens Bank Ballpark in Philadelphia as part of MLB's All-Star Game celebration. The Cardinals homestand, June 30th. We had Arkansas 8, Springfield 7. July 1st, Springfield 9, Arkansas 8 with 10 innings. July 2nd, Arkansas at Springfield is at 7:05. July 3rd, Arkansas at Springfield, 7:05. July 4th, Arkansas at Springfield, 6:05. And July 5th, Arkansas at Springfield, 6:05 p.m. Ticket information can be found at springfieldcardinals.com or by calling 417-863-2143. And the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education advances the plan to give Missouri schools new A to F report cards. Annalise Hanshaw with the Missouri Independent brings us this story through the Springfield News-Leader. The Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education sent its plan for grading public schools on an A through F scale to Governor Mike Kehoe on Tuesday, June 30th, fulfilling a directive from his January executive order, while warning that the work will come with new costs. The 24-page proposal estimates it will cost $518,000 to create the grade cards and require $715,100 annually for the staff and software to maintain them. Most of these costs are not reflected in the department's budget, so the plan anticipates filing a supplemental request to the legislature asking for additional funds. The implementation plan also warns that cuts to the Office of Administration could create significant problems because the office's information technology staff maintain the department's website and data reporting systems. The department warned that the Office of Administration's information technology staff are needed to carry out the plan, but the continued availability of those employees and contractors is in question. The state has spent most of its budget surplus, and the state auditor's office is warning against further deficit spending. Feeling the strain, lawmakers passed a budget that did not include raises for state employees and kept education funding flat despite calls for an additional $190 million in state aid to public schools. June 30th, Kehoe vetoed or froze nearly $500 million from the budget, saying the state faces a massive budget shortfall in coming years. Kehoe is demanding public schools publish the new report cards on their websites no later than September 30th of each year, with scores based largely on standardized test performance. Private schools can opt into the system, but the department currently lacks the infrastructure for capturing data from private schools. Meeting the fall deadline, the department wrote, comes with notable concerns. Significant changes to data capture, validation, and processing are necessary to meet the annual required timeline, the report says. These changes may impact the quality of data used in the grade cards, especially in the initial cycle. The department would have to move up the deadline for schools to administer standardized tests, like the Missouri Assessment Program and end-of-course examinations, by 2 weeks. Schools who routinely test at the end of the testing window may see scores decrease since teachers are used to 2 more weeks of instruction before giving the test, the report says. The Education Department's data review process would also be compressed. Typically, it reviews data submitted by the schools throughout the summer and allows for a lengthy appeals timeline, but must shorten the amount of time districts have to submit information and correct inaccuracies. While district leaders will have serious concerns related to this abbreviated opportunity for data corrections, it is incumbent upon all parties, including the department, to maintain the schedule so the grade card can be released as required, the department wrote. The plan includes Kehoe's requests for new metrics, such as a score to show whether a student is on track to reach proficiency within 3 years. It also adopts his suggestion to increase rigor in the grading scale by raising the thresholds for A through D scores when more than 65% of schools obtain an A or a B. Grades for elementary and middle schools will be scored 38% based on academic achievement, 33% on student growth using the state's current model, and 29% on growth to proficiency. High schools will be graded with 28% based on academic achievement, 28% on the state's current growth model, 22% on 4-year graduation rates, and 22% will encompass measures that indicate a student is ready for post-secondary education or career, like ACT scores. The system is not in effect yet. Kehoe could request changes, though he does not have authority to unilaterally decide the new policy, and any plan must be approved by the State Board of Education. Currently, the board is set to review the implementation plan in August. The department is currently undergoing a change in leadership following the retirement of former Commissioner of Education Carla Esslinger in May. Stacy Price, an educational consultant with history working in the department, is currently at the helm as interim education commissioner. One of her main missions as interim commissioner is to oversee the implementation of the A through F grade cards, the department said in a news release in mid-June. The goal for the A through F school grading framework, Price said in a statement June 30th, is to provide families and communities with a simple, comparable, and rigorous picture of school performance. And we want to thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Come by and see us in person with daily deals at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. The Blind Community Thrift Store is a spacious 17,000 square foot thrift store located in Springfield, Missouri. It holds the distinction of being the first retail store worldwide to incorporate NaviLens technology, which significantly enhances accessibility for the blind, visually impaired, and non-English speaking individuals. This innovative system enables customers to navigate and shop with minimal assistance, fostering independence and confidence. The store operates as a nonprofit organization dedicated to generating funds that support the provision of adaptive technology and training for the blind and visually impaired community, often at little to no cost. Visitors can learn more about the organization and access its services by visiting us in person or exploring the website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The website offers comprehensive information about the store's mission, services, and opportunities for community involvement, as well as details about the free store available to residents in the Springfield area. And we have a news story from yesterday. There was a shooting in the Mercy parking garage, if you hadn't heard yet. The Daily Citizen staff bring us this story that say Springfield police say 2 people are dead in a murder-suicide early Thursday morning, July 2nd, in a parking garage on the east side of Mercy Hospital's campus. Springfield Police Department spokesperson Chris Swatter said there's no ongoing threat to the public. A media release says officers responded to the report of shots fired at around 4:50 a.m. and located a deceased man, 60-year-old Russell Ecton, in the parking garage, and an injured woman, 59-year-old Jacqueline Ecton, who was transported to the hospital where she died. The Springfield Police Department Homicide Unit is conducting the investigation and has determined that the suspect, Russell, shot and killed the victim, Jacqueline. Russell then died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Both Russell and Jacqueline were from Springfield. Their families have been notified. A spokesperson for Mercy Springfield said hospital operations are continuing as normal. In a statement, the hospital indicated that the victim is a Mercy employee. Here is the full statement. Quote, "We were shocked and saddened to learn of the tragic event on our campus early this morning involving one of our caregivers. We are actively working with Springfield Police to assist in their investigation and are unable to provide more information at this time. Police have assured us this is not an ongoing threat. The safety of our patients, visitors, and caregivers is our highest priority. This is a difficult time for our team members, and we are providing additional support from our spiritual care team. For those who are visiting the hospital today, please be mindful of this tragic event as our caregivers are grieving. Any questions about the incident should be directed to law enforcement as they continue their investigation." Detectives continue to investigate and are asking anyone who has information about this incident to contact the Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810 or make an anonymous call to Crime Stoppers at 417-869-8477. This incident is Springfield's 7th homicide investigation for 2026. And moving on into further sad news, let's go ahead and discuss the obituaries for the week. There are a few. First up, we have Antonia Simone Weiland, age 83, who passed away June 25th, 2026. Her arrangements are being provided by Gorman Scharf Funeral Home. Her services were held yesterday, July 2nd, 11 a.m. at Gorman Scharf Funeral Home, and the visitation was held yesterday as well. Ernest William Bill Johnmeyer, age 92, passed away June 28th, 2026. His arrangements are being provided by Gorman Scharf Funeral Home, and those services will be held on July 8th at 11 a.m. at Sunset Church of Christ and Missouri Veterans Cemetery. Bonnie Heather, age 87, passed away June 28th, 2026. Her arrangements are being provided by Green Lawn Funeral Home North. Her services were held yesterday, July 2nd, 10 a.m. at Green Lawn Funeral Home North and Green Lawn Memorial Gardens. Joanne Swingle of Springfield passed away at home in the late evening of Saturday, June 27th, 2026. She was 91 years young. During her last hours, Joan was comforted by her eldest daughter, Linda Coltsey, and both granddaughters, Mary Jo and Lori Ann, and family friend Amy Packard, and a number of aides and hospice workers, including Maddie, Melanie, Regan, and Nurse Dana. Joan was born and raised in the small coal mining community of Pemberton, West Virginia on February 24th, 1935. Joan's parents were William Jackson and Lillian Petrie Beckelheimer, and she had 10 brothers and sisters, of which only 3 survive today: Paul Beckelheimer, Polly Menz, and Juanita Jackson. Life growing up in West Virginia during the Great Depression was extremely difficult, and Joan appreciated the value of a dollar and never got over the worry about having enough food to feed the family in her entire life. Joan moved to Newport News, Virginia during the Korean War to provide support to her active duty brother Paul and his wife Frances and their young family. While there, she met her future husband, Hubert Swingle, who was in the U.S. Navy. They married on February 5th, 1955 in Coal City, West Virginia. According to Granny, she told her granddaughter, Mary Jo, that she was most happy that Hugh made her his wife and moved her to his hometown, Jackson, Ohio. They were blessed with the arrival of their first daughter, Linda Sue, a year later in 1956. In 1959, they welcomed a son, John Wilbur, to the family, and finally in 1963, another daughter, Sandra Marie, joined the tribe. In 1966, the Little family received a work-related transfer from Ohio to Springfield, Missouri. Joan was a homemaker and enjoyed cooking, crocheting, and hosting family, extended family, and friends in her home. She cared for her best friend's 3 children from birth to kindergarten and treated them as if they were her own. She embraced Linda's in-laws as if they were part of her own family and helped care for them in their elder years. Joan hosted and prepared large dinners for Thanksgiving and Christmas holiday gatherings, as well as birthday barbecues, including Linda's in-laws, Dr. Vernon and Mary Ann Colts, and Mary Ann's brother, Ua, Tom and Linda's brother-in-law, Bill Colts, including his wife, Marcia, and their children, Chris and Emily. She happily facilitated treasured memories for her loved ones. Granddaughter Lori Ann was born with a mitochondrial and metabolic disorder, and although she has never spoken or walked, Lori Ann communicated beautifully with her loving grandmother, who accepted her unconditionally. MJ met her husband Trevor at a Bible study in Fairfax, Virginia, and was thrilled to bring him to Missouri to show him off to Granny. Granny was appropriately happy to finally be getting a grandson. Joan is survived by her 3 children, Linda Sue Thomas Coles of Phoenix, John of the area, and Sandy Dwight Gower of Springfield. Her only grandchildren are Linda and Tom's 2 daughters, Mary Jo Alicia Trevor Hill of Manassas, Virginia, and Lori Ann Amelia of Phoenix, Arizona. There will be a visitation today, Friday, July 3rd, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Gorman Scharf Funeral Home at 1947 East Seminole in Springfield. The burial will follow at a later date at the Missouri Veterans Cemetery, where Joan will be laid to rest alongside her husband, Hugh. Brenda Gay Moore, age 68, of Olathe, Kansas, passed away unexpectedly on June 27, 2026. Born in Springfield, Missouri, she was known for her strong work ethic, love of the outdoors, talent in sales, and devotion to family. Brenda cherished time with her grandchildren, Aubrey and Cooper, and found joy in gardening, cooking, and her beloved dogs. She is survived by her husband of 42 years, Cliff, and her daughters, Alicia Hathaway Brooks, and their children, Aubrey and Cooper, and Bethany Murray Josh. A celebration of life will be held on Tuesday, July 7th at 3 p.m. at the Fieldston of Fairway, 4210 Shawnee Mission Parkway in Fairway, Kansas. Donation in Brenda's honor may be made to the KC Pet Project, On a Mission KC, or the Alzheimer's Association. A full obituary can be found at www.porterfuneralhome.com. Ritsuko Nida of Springfield, Missouri, left this world peacefully and surrounded by her family on Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026, at the age of 100. She was born on Terminal Island in Los Angeles, California, to Kinosuke and Miyakubo on Sunday, February 7th, 1926. Our family is mourning her death and celebrating her life through the compassion of loved ones in her family. Our mother was an exemplary housewife and matron, and we remember her 100 years of life. After returning to the village of Makurazaki in the Kagoshima prefecture of Kyushu, Japan, with her family at the age of 2 years, she survived World War II and trained as a seamstress in Tokyo. She returned to LA and worked in the garment industry while also caring for her older siblings' children. She later married Eric Nita on March 28, 1953, and raised their family in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, before relocating to Springfield in 1972. She continued to sew and make clothes for herself and her family. She also enjoyed laughing, singing, reading, gardening, and watching sporting events. She dedicated her long life completely to her family and household wellness, all while being gracious, lovable, playful yet competitive, never complaining, and extraordinarily strong-willed. These enviable qualities remained with her until the very end. Through our many priceless memories, we will honor her life by doing our best to live by her example. We love and miss you, Mom. Ritsuko was preceded in death by her husband and her parents. She is survived by her 3 children, Grace Thiel Jeff of Wisconsin, Diane Nita and David Coleman, and Dawn Nita of Springfield, 4 grandchildren, Hannah Sapp, Brenna Buchanan Kyle, Corbin Sapp Crystal, and Brent Thiel, and 6 great-grandchildren. The remains of our Eric and Ritsuko will be interred together in California. In lieu of flowers, please contribute in their names to your favorite charity. Online condolences can be made at www.klingnerfuneralhome.com. And finally, we have Kathy Usher Katie, a woman of intellect, adventure, creativity, and compassion, is remembered with profound love by her family and all whose lives she touched. Kathy earned her master's degree in psychology from the University of Dayton and later her doctorate from Forest Institute in Springfield, Missouri. Along the way, she became an accomplished outdoor writer and photographer, and her pioneering book, Women in the Woods, invited women everywhere to step confidently into hunting, fishing, camping, and backcountry adventure. Returning to psychology, Kathy joined the Shealy Institute as director of psychology, where she became a world leader in biofeedback for migraine, especially in children. She was among the first to use art as both a diagnostic and therapeutic tool for pediatric migraine. In 1997, she and her future husband, Roger, founded the Headache Care Center, ClinVest Clinical Research, and the Primary Care Network. Together, they traveled the world teaching physicians, advancing headache medicine, and writing several successful books. Kathy and Roger's partnership was a rare and beautiful union, intimate, passionate, intellectually alive, and full of joy. Their adventures spanned the globe, from sailing in Palau to exploring the Galapagos, the Caribbean, Africa, and their houseboat in Austin. A devoted mother, Kathy poured her heart into her children, Brittany and Scotty, and embraced her stepchildren, Ryan, Sarah, and Aaron, with equal love. Known as Mima or Mimi, she is adored by her grandchildren, Nico, Julia, Cannon, Charlie, Livy, Wesley, Sawyer, and Renly. She made every occasion special, especially Christmas. A scholar, pioneer, healer, adventurer, mother, grandmother, partner, and friend, Kathy loved being on the water, in particular floating on the Finley River. She inspired others with her mantra, "Be not afraid." We mourn her passing and celebrate the extraordinary life she lived. Visitation will be held on Thursday, July 16th, 2026, from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at Gorman Scharf Funeral Home at 1947 East Seminole in Springfield, Missouri, 65804. A celebration of life will be held at a later date and location to be posted on the Gorman Scharf website. The family extends its heartfelt gratitude to Amada Senior Care, Mallory, and Dr. Duff for their compassion and support. And our condolences go out to the family and friends of everyone mourning today. Let's see. Looks like we have some chips being recalled for salmonella. Ahmed Jawadi from the USA Today Network brings us this story through the Springfield News-Leader that says hundreds of thousands of bags of potato chips sold nationwide, including in Missouri, have been recalled due to the risk of salmonella contamination. Pennsylvania-based Utz Quality Foods, LLC, that's UTZ, Utz, voluntarily recalled certain varieties of its Zaps, that's ZAPP, and Dirty brand potato chips after the company learned that a seasoning made with dry milk powder supplied by a third-party manufacturer could potentially contain salmonella. Though the affected batches tested negative before being used, Utz said it issued the recall out of an abundance of caution. The recall is part of a broader investigation that has also led to recalls of other food products containing the same ingredient. The FDA classified the recall as a Class 1, its highest risk category, on July 1st. This means there is a reasonable probability that consuming or being exposed to the affected product could cause serious adverse health consequences or death. Here's what to know. So, which potato chips are recalled? The recall applies to the following Zapp's and Dirty potato chips. We got the Zapp's Bayou Blackened Ranch potato chips in the 1.5 ounce size, and those are numerous UPCs and dates. I would encourage you to check out further information if you own any of these products. The next one would be the Zapp's Bayou Blackened Ranch potato chips in the 2.5 ounce. Also, the Bayou Blackened Ranch potato chips in the 8 ounce. The Dirty Sour Cream and Onion potato chips in the 2 ounce. The Zapp's Salt and Vinegar potato chips in a 1.5 ounce. The Dirty Maui Onion potato chips in a 2 ounce size. The Zapp's Big Cheesy potato chips in both the 2.5 and 8 ounce sizes. The Dirty Sour Cream and Onion potato chips in a 2 ounce size. And looks like that is the end of the list there. So where were the potato chips sold? The Zapp's and Dirty potato chips were distributed nationwide to the following states. I will spare you reading this list of states, which is approximately half of the country, and just let you know that they were sold in Arkansas and in Missouri and in Oklahoma. They do not appear to have been sold in Kansas. So what should you do if you have these recalled potato chips? Well, do not consume them. Throw them away. For questions or refunds, please contact Utz Customer Care at 1-877-423-0149 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. The company said it hasn't received any reports of illnesses linked to the potato chips. And what is salmonella? Well, salmonella is a type of bacteria that can cause salmonellosis, one of the most common foodborne illnesses. Common symptoms include diarrhea, fever, stomach cramps, nausea, and vomiting. Most people recover within 4 to 7 days, but young children, the elderly, and people with weakened immune systems face a greater risk of severe illness and, or in rare cases, death. So if you have some of those chips at home, definitely toss those and reach out to the company for a refund. Do not eat. All right, we have a few celebrity birthdays to celebrate today, beginning with Mr. Tom Cruise, known for all sorts of things at this point. He turned 64 today. We have, as I scroll down the list here, movie actor Patrick Wilson, best known for his work in drama. His credits include Watchmen, Little Children, Insidious, and The Conjuring. He also played Joe Pitt in the HBO miniseries Angels in America, and he turns 53 today. We have, Thomas Gibson, best known for playing Agent Hotchner on Criminal Minds, turns 64 years old today. Pop singer Elle King, best known for her single X's and O's, turns 37. And I apologize, technological issues here. We next up have Kurtwood Smith, who is 83 today. Wow! He is best known as Red Foreman, the father on that 70s show. I would have never pegged him at 83. Wow, congratulations, Mr. Smith. Actor Tommy Flanagan, best known for his role in Sons of Anarchy. He played Chips Telford alongside Charlie Hunnam, and he turns 61 today. We have looks like one more here, Connie Nielsen. I'm not familiar with Connie. Who is Connie? A Danish actress who became known for starring in the 2000 film Gladiator. She reprised her roles 24 years later in Gladiator 2, and in 2018 she starred as Karina in the TV limited series called I Am the Night, and she turns 61 years old today. We would like to wish a happy birthday to anyone celebrating today, whether you are a celebrity or, just a celebrity within your own circle. Next up, we have the Springfield Police have issued 9 citations during the crosswalk enforcement. Susan Shuk with the Springfield News-Leader says that the Springfield Police Department issued citations to 8 pedestrians and 1 driver during a crosswalk enforcement operation on July 1st, according to a news release. Glad to see that. The enforcement operation took place at the high-intensity activated crosswalk, also known as HAWK, signal location north of Kearney Street on North Glenstone Avenue near the Oasis Convention Center. While 22 pedestrians crossed safely, the 8 pedestrians who received citations had crossed an arterial roadway not in the crosswalk. The driver violated a red light at the crosswalk. In 2026, Springfield has seen 6 pedestrian deaths, with 3 of those happening outside of crosswalks. Following is a photo of a pedestrian as they wait to cross at a Hawk signal location north of Kearney Street. SPD has planned additional crosswalk enforcement operations for 2026, which aim to improve yielding rates, reduce crashes and close calls involving pedestrians, and encourage safe behaviors for all roadway users. The tragic fatalities this year are a sobering reminder of how important it is for pedestrians to follow safe street crossing practices, said Lieutenant Steve Schwind, supervisor of SPD's traffic unit, in the news release. To help prevent future tragedies and help make Springfield's roads safer, officers will educate and enforce both crosswalk violations by drivers as well as pedestrians who violate pedestrian safety laws. Hawk signals allow pedestrians to safely cross busy roadways in the middle of blocks. The system is only activated by a pedestrian pushing the button. The yellow light alerts drivers that someone is looking to cross, which then becomes a steady red light that allows pedestrians to cross. When the light is flashing red, drivers can proceed if all pedestrians are out of the crosswalk. Other Hawk signals in Springfield include those on East Kearney Street between Boonville Avenue and Robertson Avenue, South Glenstone between Cinderella Street and Marsa Drive, and East Sunset Avenue east of South Kimbrough Avenue. SPD's pedestrian safety enforcement is funded by a hazardous moving violations grant from the Missouri Department of Transportation's Traffic and Highway Safety Division. I know a lot of Springfield residents will be extremely happy to hear that the jaywalkers are being cited as well. There has been a lot of talk on social media about how many of these accidents are occurring due to pedestrian fault. And next up, we have businesses that sue Missouri Attorney General over the slot machine threats. Oh, it's getting interesting. Rudy Keller from the Missouri Independent brings us this story through the News-Leader that says 2 lawsuits filed in Cole County accuse Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway of unlawfully using threats of criminal prosecution to force bars and gas stations to shut down slot machine games. The latest case, filed Friday, June 26th, by an entity founded last year called the Missouri Licensing Advocacy Group, based in Osage Beach, argues Hanaway and the Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Control are threatening the liquor and other licenses of businesses that host the machines. While state law requires anyone receiving a liquor license to be, quote, of good moral character, that phrase is undefined in the statute and can't be invoked just because there is a game on the premises that the state believes is illegal. According to the lawsuit, the organization has members who include liquor suppliers, convenience stores, bars, and other licensees. The case was filed by the organization and not by any individual member. The problem with the enforcement effort is that it treats all games as though they are illegal, said Samuel Trapp, co-founder of the organization. They come in and claim you're breaking the law, and suddenly you're tried, found guilty, and convicted, and there's no due process, Trapp said. In a case filed June 18th, the St. Charles County restaurant called Turner's Bar and Grill asked for class action status to sue Hanaway to block her from threatening prosecution if retailers do not turn off games at their locations. In that lawsuit, attorneys for Turner's argue that Hanaway, without winning any criminal convictions, has decided that games allow players to see the outcome of the next play, called pre-reveal games, must be shut down. The owners cannot wait to be charged and then argue the games were legal, the state's lawsuit states. For a Missouri retailer, prosecution is not a clean path to legal clarity, the lawsuit states. It means public accusation, possible arrest, search warrants, seizure of machines and cash, forfeiture proceedings, loss of banking relationships, landlord pressure, insurance problems, damage to licenses, termination of retail contracts, and reputational injury that no later judgment can fully repair. Hanaway's aggressive stance against the games is a marked change from her predecessors, Andrew Bailey and Eric Schmidt, who both largely ignored the growing presence of the games. Bailey recused his office from a 2021 lawsuit filed by the biggest game vendor Torch Electronics after taking large political donations from political action committees controlled by the company's lobbyist, Steve Tilley. In February, a federal judge ruled in a civil lawsuit that pre-reveal games offered by Torch meet the statutory definition of gambling device and are therefore illegal. Since that decision, Hanaway has threatened Torch, based in Wildwood, with prosecution. The company turned its games off in early April to avoid criminal charges. The state has been working closely with federal investigators on cases involving slot machines at retail locations. A Georgia resident pleaded guilty to money laundering and illegal gambling in May in federal court in Springfield. And as the legal pressure has ramped up, so has the political fight over the machines. Missouri lawmakers debated but did not pass a bill to allow slot machine games licensed by the Missouri Lottery. Companies on both sides of the debate have poured millions into this year's legislative elections to influence the outcome in 2027. But until the legislature writes a new definition of a gambling device, pre-reveal games should be presumed to be legal, the lawsuit by Turner's Bar and Grill states. Turner's offers pre-reveal games, the lawsuit states, but they are not Torch machines. Demands from Hanaway that all pre-reveal games be turned off go beyond her authority, the lawsuit contends. It treats resemblance as guilt, the lawsuit states. It treats a machine that looks like something the state disfavors as a crime. And it treats a non-binding federal district court ruling involving Torch Electronics, different devices, different evidence, different parties, and a private competitor dispute as if it amended the Missouri revised statutes. It did not. Both lawsuits are in their early stages and no response has been filed. James Lawson, Deputy Chief of Staff to Hanaway, said the office would not comment on the specifics of the lawsuits. We're happy to litigate this issue in court, Lawson said. We've been filing cases on this for months. The Turner's lawsuit asks the court to declare that the statute being used by Hanaway to prosecute pre-reveal games is unconstitutionally vague and block her from further charges. Trapp's group wants a broader ruling on the way licensing agencies can be used and to define the standards for deciding whether a violation has occurred that warrants revoking or denying a license. Hanaway wants to shut the games down because they're illegal and create other problems, Lawson said. They create magnets for organized violent crime, money laundering, and illegal activity that put them out in the middle of storefronts, he said. It is a billion-dollar, unregulated cash industry. Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.